Hello, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Jesus, that was quick. That was actually quicker than usual. To some more Project Zomboid. Now, I took a couple of days off from recording for, well, a couple of reasons. One, I wanted to reduce the backlog, let you guys catch up, and listen to some feedback, advice you guys give me, especially in regards to how many videos am I going to do that are just purely based on combat, exploring, clearing out buildings, you know, finding gear and useful resources and stuff like that, and how many do I want to base on, you know, the other aspects of the game, the survival aspects, finding food, well, not finding food, like farming, fishing, you know, that sort of stuff that's not really combat orientated. And while I got overwhelmingly positive reviews on the series in general, I say reviews as like people actually reviewing it. What I mean is like feedback, right? I got overwhelmingly positive feedback on the series itself, and I'm immensely grateful for all of you. So I want to take a moment to appreciate just you giving me your attention, basically, more so than anything else. Now, with that said, I recorded a whole episode yesterday, but OBS had a thing, and basically it just changed the video encoding codec that I use for this, and that's a pretty big issue because once it changes the codec, my editing software can't read it anymore, and then I can't put together the video. And I tried to re-encode the video with a program, with a third-party program, and then I could get video, but I couldn't get audio back. So I just lost the episode. But it wasn't a particularly long episode, it was like 25 or 6 minutes or so. In that episode, I cleared out these houses over here. Off camera, I did a little bit of work around the house. If there's something different, then that's the reason. And I began doing, well, a couple of things in the house. First of all, had some sleep, I made some rice. I was cooking, yes, it was glorious. Unfortunately, you didn't get to see it. I think I still have a little bit of it here. Yeah, there it is. Made a bowl of rice, see? Pretty good. I'm not sure if this is the bowl from before or the new one, but I think I made a new one. I think I might have ate that one, and this is the one from before. Either way, I also watched Carzone Episode 1 and The Cook Show Episode 1. Oh, yes. And that taught me a couple of things. First and foremost, Carzone is a great show. Second of all, we're just going to put this in here, and I'm going to show you exactly what I did, because, you know, I'm in a position to do so. We have electricity now, yes? And I have to actually get up and play it, because the remote isn't working, apparently. Yeah, you know how it is. Welcome to Woodcraft, and so on and so forth. I wonder if this will actually improve my carpentry any or not. Because my carpentry is currently at, what, level 8? It does actually get it up to level 9 and 10. That is fascinating. You get the XP bonus from it anyway, doesn't matter what level you're at. But this is how that worked. And I also listened to some music and danced around, rather silly. Or like, without the dance animation mod, no, just freestyling it. Also, bought myself a cup of iced coffee, and we're ready to go on and continue. Now, one other thing I did is I read a mechanics book, so currently I am at level 1.5, almost 2 for mechanics. I also have the full boost up to level 2, I think. And the reason for that is, well, I got a couple of pieces of advice, right? This is going back to reducing the backlog and all that stuff. I got a couple of pieces of advice regarding managing my time, first of all. That is, I can use F2, F3, F4, F5, and so on and so forth to toggle between the speed settings. On this particular keyboard, it's not the most useful thing ever, I'll be the first to admit, because the F keys from 1 to 12 are a bit small and weirdly shaped, and they're a bit difficult to get to. On the other louder keyboard, which I'm pretty sure you can hear, they're actually a lot more accessible. So I might switch over to that when I'm doing something that's very time-consuming. But we'll see. You know, it's not a big deal. However, it is good to know. I didn't actually know the F keys controlled that. All right, I didn't. I just forgot about it. Like after a while. Anyways, so that's the thing, first of all. Second of all, I got some more useful information about the garden and about food. So here's the thing. Farming is great, and it will produce a good amount of food. This garden will produce a good amount of food. However, there are times where it's not enough, because as you can see currently, this is still growing. It's well watered. It's been watered 62 hours ago, so it's not particularly well watered, but, you know, if we get some rain in a couple of days, that'd be great. If not, you know, I still have water up here to water my garden. And the problem is, well, yes, this could fail. You could get disease. You could, you know, they could rot away, and you might run out of water and stuff like that. But even if you don't, the problem is these things take a while to grow, and you need something in between this growing and, you know, you harvesting it. And for that, trapping and fishing is actually very useful. Now, trapping, I think people value a bit too much in general because it's not really all that cost effective. You need traps and you need bait for it, and that's not the only problem. The real problem is how it's calculated, and by that I mean, when do you actually trap something and how do you actually do it? Well, in this game, there's a bit of a creative interpretation for that, how that's supposed to work, because NPC animals don't exist. It has to do something with cells and where you are in the world. You might say, well, that just makes sense. That means that you're not going to scare the animal away. You're not really, I'm afraid. The problem is, it's not just about scaring the animal away. It's also just, you know, being in certain spots on the map at a certain distance away from the trap that you need to do. And I don't mean just, you know, like staying far enough away from the trap not to scare animals away, but no, there's more to it. It's an extremely complicated way of doing things, and it's an extremely complicated solution to the trapping system, and it doesn't really work all that well. It's one of those things in the game that isn't really finished until proper animals are introduced. Speaking of animals, there's a flock of birds right outside my window. I don't know if you can hear them, but that's... you know what, that is probably the most fitting thing ever. Fascinating. I cannot close the window. I'm sorry, I will die if I close the window. It is, like, extraordinarily hot and humid. I need some fresh air, I apologize. So, anyways. Give me a second. Piece of ice. Anyways, as I was saying, trapping is, you know, it's interesting, fair enough, when you first do it, but in reality it's a bit not that great. Fishing, on the other hand, is great. It's a great source of food. You need bait, and you need either a fishing pole, a fishing net. You do need some gear to do it, but you can do it, and it's relatively easy. There is only one problem with fishing as it stands right now, for me personally. And let me just stop doing this really quickly. I'll explain why I'm doing this in a second. Here's a natural source of water, and this small lake over here has an infinite amount of fish. Oh yes, this small lake here will never, ever, ever, ever run out of fish as far as I'm concerned. I am unable to deprive it of fish. It will forever have fish, right, as far as my needs are concerned. Granted, if we get some sort of industrial-grade exploitation of this lake, it'll probably run out of fish and water and everything else. But as far as an individual survivor is concerned, this will never run out of fish. Infinite amount of fish, right, just like it has an infinite amount of water in the game. The only problem is, this is the map from before the infection, so from 10 years ago. This used to be forest, and then you have a small dirt path here leading to the lake. My guess is this is now all completely covered in trees. Like, literally tree next to tree next to tree, the densest forest you've ever seen. My guess. Right? Even though that lake is very, very close to where I am currently, there is still a problem of actually getting to it, because of the ridiculously dense forest that's probably there. And so, what we have to end up doing is clearing the path to the lake with an axe, or 3. which is doable. Like I said, it's not that far away. It is doable, and I'm willing to do it just to get some fish, you know? Because it will be very useful. You know, you can cook up a fish and you're good pretty much for the rest of the day. And there's also that saying, right? Teach a man to fish and give him a fish and something along those lines and he'll be satisfied. Yes, I know that's not how it goes. I'm making a stupid joke, but anyways, what I'm saying is you get the point, right? It's sort of I think the go-to move oftentimes when thinking about survival. Also, speaking of which, I've tweaked around the microphone settings a little bit, again because of OBS. Man, I've had some serious problems with OBS, let me tell you, but I'll get to that in a bit. And so that's one of my plans, right? To get some fish from over there, and ultimately, eventually, to get some fishing equipment, like, you know, nets, pole, bait. Although I have a ton of worms already, so I don't really need any bait right now, and they're easy to come by. You just dig furrows in the ground, and you get whatchamacallit? You get those worms. Yeah, you get worms like that. The regular variety, not the parasitic kind, right? Anyways, so I drink water and coffee at the same time. Your voice goes a bit funny from it. And speaking of voice, OBS problems. Oh dear, oh dear. So the main problem I have with OBS is it's making my computer crash. Oh, well, Juggernaut, that's impossible. The program's literally designed around the idea that it cannot make anything crash. I know, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still doing it. My computer only crashes while OBS is running. Now, there is a possible solution to this, or a possible cause of this, rather, and at the same time solution, being the power supply. There is a chance that the power supply I have is not efficient enough and not large enough to supply power to the GPU and the CPU while I'm recording. So you put a large strain on the system when you're recording, and there's just not enough power to go around, and the computer freezes and crashes because of that. It is certainly possible. I've seen it happen. However, I've done stress tests on this system multiple times. Especially when I first, bought the computer, I did stress tests on it and several different programs and stuff, and it passed with flying colors. So if a stress test didn't kill it, why would, especially a lengthy stress test of like 10, 15, 20 minutes or so, I think it's the longest I did was like half an hour, I think. There's different programs to stress test different things, right? So if that didn't change anything, if that didn't cause crashes, why would recording with OBS cause crashes? I'm not sure. On the other hand, the power situation in this home that I'm in isn't really great, and I'll explain what I mean by that. There's some weird things that happen occasionally. For example, if you ring the doorbell, the picture on my TV will flicker. Yeah, Juggernaut, get out of that house. Look, I've been here for like 20 years and nothing bad has happened to the electricity thus far, but it's always been a bit touchy, right? We've had no problems, no real problems for years and years and years, so it's nothing to be worried about, but it's an issue. Maybe that contributes to the whole power problem. I don't know. And the reason I'm saying this is I've noticed the game crashing, my entire computer crashing, only in some really high-performance, demanding games, like Escape from Tarkov, like, for a time it was Stellaris, which isn't that demanding, right? It also happened in Mass Effect on the previous computer, and then I recorded here just fine the whole Mass Effect series. So I was like, okay, it's not that. What else could it be? Could it be the drivers? Well, I updated the drivers, and it caused even worse crashes. It caused crashes like as soon as you start recording. And then I downgraded my drivers to the previous version, and it worked sometimes. Sometimes I could record like 40 minutes of footage, no problem. Sometimes it would crash half an hour in. I don't know. Another possible issue is the audio driver. Now, as with any YouTuber, I have a ridiculously complicated audio setup with speakers, headphones, a microphone, a TV which reproduces audio as well, and different filters, different programs I use for recording audio, a noise gate, a de-esser, a depopper, equalizer, so on and so forth. And all of those things contribute to, like, all of those things individually contribute to, like, 0.5% better audio quality. I mean, if I switch to the default microphone settings without any of those things, you would notice a difference of about, like, maybe, I don't know, 10% better. Oh, sorry, 10% worse, like, this is 10% better. And it's a lot of work just to get, like, a little bit of extra out of your microphone. But it's noticeable, and so I have all those things. And, well, a part of the reason for having those things is, it also makes editing easier, right? So I don't need to do anything in post to edit my voice or the volume or anything. I just render the video, the actual video, and upload it like that. So there's minimal work on my end when it comes to editing videos, and that helps a lot. And so all of that's lovely. And also I can record audio and video at the same time, which you would be shocked how many people don't do that. It's just, you know, it's, I get it. I get why, I genuinely do, but, yeah. Not something I think I would ever bring myself to do, record things separately, or to, like, record the same video twice, that would be. And then, like, fake reactions when I get attacked by zombies and stuff, Jesus, that would be, absolutely not. Although, like I said, you would be shocked how many people do that, quite often. I have nothing against it, matter of fact, I admire it, that they have the, not really capability, but, like, the will to go through with something like that. I think it'll just make the videos a lot worse, for me personally, and my recording style and everything. Now, I've taken up a large chunk of time talking about this, because, one, I'm hoping someone might respond that actually knows a thing or two about this and might help me. Two, I wanted to let you know, because I've changed things up a little bit with audio and OBS, and this should still sound relatively fine, the microphone, I mean. And hopefully with this, I'll have a slightly better time recording and not have as many crashes and stuff, right? Hopefully. Maybe. Who knows? Anyways, I reckon I owe you about, 15, 18 minutes in? I reckon I owe you an explanation as to what the hell I'm doing to this poor car. And what I'm doing to this poor car can be explained very simply. I am sacrificing it to the gods of mechanics. So, here's mechanics. I'm up to level 2, right? So, right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this down on the floor, and I'm going to go back inside and read a book. The reason I'm doing this is, or rather will be explained in but a moment. You see, the way you level up the mechanics skill in this game is generally through failing to remove and to put on various parts. Now, if we go over to Mechanics Volume 2, I'm just going to read this really quickly, and I'll explain it while I'm reading. Let me just find a nice place to sit down. There we go. So, as I was saying, see, we've learned, we're now using the F keys. So, as I was saying, basically, I want to fix up a bike. And the reason I want to fix up a bike is you've seen what the traffic is like and what the density of cars and trees on the road and obstacles, and generally speaking, is. From Raven Creek to here. It's crazy, right? I'm hoping, because I've never driven a bike, I want to fix one, first of all. Second of all, I'm hoping that given its size, both in terms of the hitboxes in the game and its actual, real-life size, I'm hoping that I'll be able to squeeze through quite a few spaces on a bike. Now, if that fails and I end up breaking my legs on some twigs on the road, so be it, right? It's an experience. I have to try it. I have to. I have to know what it's like. And so, what I was thinking is I'm going to fix up a bike And then that'll let me run around town a little bit more freely. That might even let me go back to some places that I was going to, and it'll make traveling a heck of a lot easier, and I can go to specific spots a lot easier. I wouldn't have to clear out like 7 streets between here and the hospital just to get to the hospital. I can go on my bike and, you know, drive my way up there, hopefully. That's one. Second of all, I need another project to work on that isn't just running around town, because that gets a little bit boring if I'm just constantly in combat 24/7. So I needed something to work on now that the garden's done, the house is done, and I have water and everything, right? And so to that effect, I've actually written something in the to-do list. So I still need the nails, the garbage bags, the welding torch, the stone, and the food. Food I'm going to pick up eventually, right? I mean, I don't really need that much of it right now, but I'm just going to keep it there. Stone, yeah, you know, for the well, it's always going to be useful. Keep that in mind. Welding torch, pretty much, I need it for loads of things, right? For metal construction, for repairing vehicles, for upgrading some vehicles, all sorts of things. Garbage bags I'm going to actually remove. I don't need that many garbage bags. I have a ton of water collectors on the roof. I have 1 over here, 3 over there. That's plenty. And I still need the car battery recharger thingy. Yep, that's still what I'm calling it. I don't know what it's called. That's still what I'm going to be calling it. And then to this, I'm going to add fishing equipment. Whatever that may constitute, right? So that's the plan, basically. We get those things, and we should be good, I think. Right? Make sense? Makes sense to me. What the hell? Something's banging on the walls. What? Well, hello there! Where on earth did you come from? Why, the sneaky little bastard! You see him? Tusk, tusk, tusk. Okay. He looked kind of stuck in there more so than genuinely trying to attack something. Yeah, it looked like it was sort of like stuck between this and this more so than anything. Okay, I suppose. I mean, not quite sure what to say, I'll be honest with you. Really didn't expect that. Well, anyways, back to the book. Am I hungry? Not quite yet. 78 kilos, by the way. 78 freaking kilos, man. So, where was I? Yeah, so basically the idea is fix the bike, get some fishing equipment, and that's kind of the long-term project right now. And when I say long-term, it's a great segue, in fact, some might even say the perfect segue, into the following. The length of this series. Because I've set up myself fairly well, there's still work to do, but I would consider this character really well situated. A couple of things that I desperately need. Ammo, and a lot more ammo, right? In case of, you know, a horde coming in, a helicopter crashing somewhere nearby, or I don't know, something. It's always good to have ammo. I have tons of shotgun ammo, but I would like some 5.56 and stuff like that. It'll make clearing things a lot easier, especially clearing like large areas, or if I find, I don't know, hospital, a prison, a military base, anything. That would make things a lot easier. And then on top of that, the everyday survival stuff. in terms of, you know, like the really, really long run kind of stuff, like the aforementioned farm, fishing, supplies, etc., etc. But there's also one more thing that I need for long-term survival, and that is fuel. Now, Juggernaut, you have about 7 million cars between you and the gas station over there, including fuel in the gas station, don't you? Yeah, but a lot of the cars that we're going to see on the road are not going to have fuel. They're just going to be cars that have sat there for like... Ooh, I bit myself. Sorry. Cars that have like sat there for God knows how long, probably the full 10 years, right? And so they're not going to be useful at all. However, the gas station has fuel in it. In fact, I think it has an infinite amount of fuel in it. I'm not 100% sure on that. I need to check that. But it might have an infinite amount of fuel in it. However, the pumps in the gas station do not work. You need a generator to get hooked up to the gas station in order for the pumps to work. Now, at a glance, without really thinking about it too much, this might seem like a paradoxical situation, right? Where you need fuel to... You need a generator to get fuel, but the generator needs fuel, right? Except there's multiple different sources of fuel, so not just here. However, if we find another generator, I need to lug it all the way over here, plug it into the gas station, and maybe even, like, wall off the gas station too? Make, like, a secondary outpost there, a secondary base? That seems like a really good plan to me, I'll be honest with you. Because you never know what might happen to this house. Pays to be prepared. I mean, think about the classic old Robinson Crusoe story, right? You always want to have backup bases and outposts and stuff like that. So, I really would like that. And yeah, I think that's about it as far as plans are concerned. Now, of course, in terms of the real life long-term longevity of the series, I'm having a ton of fun with it, so, you know, all good. I do intend on stopping the series right around the time the next update releases, which I thought was going to be around, like, June, July, maybe, at the latest. Turns out it's coming before the end of the year. So, chances are we have like 5 more months of silence from the developers. And of course, the update might drop tomorrow as soon as I release this video, you never know, but chances are we also have some... Let's just say we have a fair bit of time. So, yikes. Right? Yeah, not ideal. Anyways, over to my mechanics thing as I'm reading it. I wanted to share a couple of maybe things you didn't know about the game when it comes to fixing cars. One of the best ways to get your mechanics skill up is actually similar to how you get your carpentry up to level, you know, whatever. And that is by simply doing it, right? Now, you could upgrade your mechanics skill by watching VHS tapes of Carzone. Great show, by the way. However, that's not enough, and it's especially problematic when I only have one episode of the... Sorry. When I only have one episode of the bloody thing. Also, I want to level up tailoring. I want to get that to level 5 or 6, but that's just a quality of life sort of thing, so I can upgrade clothing and look cool and all that stuff. Pragmatically speaking, I don't really need it. Anyways, still can't believe I didn't see him from, like, this angle. Oh well. Anyways, as I was saying, one of the best ways to upgrade, or to level up your mechanic skill, is just by disassembling and assembling cars over and over again. The problem is, each time you fail, you lose durability for a car. Or for a car part, specifically, but overall durability as well. Right, because it's, the overall durability is just a sum of all the different parts. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the best way to level up your mechanic skill is to take a car and just sacrifice it. Take a broken car that you don't intend on repairing and you don't intend on driving and just cannibalize it. Practice on it, right? Remove its wheels, put its wheels back on. Remove the headlights, put the headlights back on. Suspension, brakes, muffler, just keep doing it, right? Just keep doing it, and over time you're going to get to mechanics level 3, 4, and then you're going to be able to take apart stuff more easily. And much more importantly, if you have, for example, a bike like this, you can take a look at mechanics for it as well. Not a lot of combat in this episode, like I said, but, you know, this is what it's going to be about. It's going to be about skills and long-term survival and so on and so forth, like all very important stuff. So, for example, we have these headlights and tail lights. We can take them off, put better ones in. We have battery, which is empty. We can take it out. Brakes, suspension, so on and so forth. We can remove all these things. Or at the very least, we can remove the things that are in poor condition, such as the front left brake. Front left brake, as opposed to being a front right brake. What? Never mind. This car only has left brakes and whatever. I understand why, though. It's fine. You're still working with the mechanics of, like, an actual four-wheeled vehicle, so it has to be like that. This one, the condition's not much better, but, for example, we take the front left suspension from this, we put it on this bike over here, and we take, you know, maybe something else from over there or something else from down there, and we put it on this bike, and we end up with a really nice bike. The slight problem with such a bike, of course, is that, oh, this one, what the hell? Game just alt-tabbed me when I hit the ignition, it just tabbed back into Steam. Okay, never mind. As I was saying, we have a key for this one, so this is great. Unfortunately, it won't start, no fuel, battery's out, engine status is kaput, right? And so we want to fix up this bike, and we want to remove pretty much everything that it has on it, save for maybe, like, what, one suspension or something? The muffler's pretty good, too. Rear wheel, and this thing is also alright. We can inflate the rear wheel, too. And the front wheel is also in good condition. We can inflate that too, as soon as we're done. Can I use speed settings while I'm doing this? I can! Ah, lovely. Actually, you know what? The F4 and F3 settings and stuff like that, incredibly useful. A lot more useful than I thought they would be. But here's a good example. Say I want to take out this gas tank. Or the front right suspension, which is for some reason here. Doesn't matter. Oh, cause no, it's not the reason. Anyways, say I want to take it out. Well, currently, if I do, I'm going to damage it because my mechanic skill isn't high enough. So I don't want to risk actually damaging any of the parts on this bike, or if you're going to remove them, it doesn't really matter that much, but if you're going to remove parts that are good, and you want to preserve their quality, then you don't want to do it for vehicles that matter to you, and so you find a piece of junk like this, and you just abuse it. You know, just have fun with it until you level up all the stuff that you need, such as this. Now, front right tyre needs to be removed. In order to remove these, I need a lug wrench. Okay, I do not have that, do I? I have a jack. I do not have a lug wrench. Okay. So I want to find... Sorry. I want to find a lug wrench. And in order to do that, I'm going to need to start breaking into some of these vehicles, possibly. I didn't pay much attention to vehicle tools and parts and stuff like that recently, so yeah, this will be... I want to say kind of new to me, but I'll need to recheck some of these areas. Obviously, I'm not going to do all of this on camera. This is going to be the sole episode dedicated to learning mechanics and all the mechanic skill. And after this, I'm going to, you know, focus on probably exploring somewhere, doing some combat, trying to keep things interesting and, you know, switch up things, obviously, as I did up until now. Alright, speaking of switching things up, Let's open up the trunk, open up the doors. I have all the Louisville maps, but maybe I thought... Well, I don't know what I thought. Get that out of there. And as a tire pump and a wrench. Unfortunately not what we needed. But, you know. You never know, I guess, right? And then we can pry this open, which... No. No. Hey, we've done it. And found an ANPSV night scope. Hooray. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, I guess, but still. Anywho, that's kind of what I'm going to be doing. Now, also, foraging is something that's very important. I know a couple of people have mentioned it, both on Discord to me, and I think I've got a couple of comments about it. However, I've already done foraging, and I've talked about it already, so I don't want to, talk about it again too much right now, because I feel like I've sort of covered it already in previous episodes. But the TLDR of it, and just a short, I guess, reminder. A lug wrench, there we go, that's what I needed. A short, like, reminder, I suppose, in some way, is that it's obviously very useful for finding all sorts of things. Genuinely, like, really all sorts of things you can find from foraging, from weapons to even ammunition to even, insects, plants, healing herbs, all kinds of things. Very useful. And especially it's going to be useful down here in the thick forestry, right? So here's where we're going to do a lot of foraging, and I've actually gotten foraging up to a decent level currently. I think we're at, like, what, 4? And we're boosting it up to level 6, I think. So all things considered, pretty bloody good. You know? But anyways, that's it for now. Off camera, I'm going to continue working on the car, just taking stuff on and off again, and, just working on that, basically, getting, hopefully getting the bike up and running. For the actual repairs of the bike that I'm going to do, I'm probably going to do that on camera, but just for the leveling up process, I'm going to do it off camera, because it's just not very interesting, right? It's just taking the seat out, putting the seat back in. It's rinse and repeat pretty much on, most vehicles, so yeah. Although they look pretty funny when you sort of strip them bare and stuff, it's kind of entertaining. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to like, subscribe down below if you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned with the rest of the series and the rest of the content that I produce on the channel. We are already done for this episode. Next time I can promise you a lot more excitement and a lot more combat, because we're gonna, well, actually, I'm not sure I can promise you that. I might go and clear the road towards the fishing thing, but maybe that's not the best idea to do right now, because I still need the actual fishing equipment. So maybe that's what we're going to do next time. Try and find some of the things that we need from the list. Probably from the houses up the street, so a bit of more of a traditional episode, I would say, with us, scavenging for parts and useful items that we're going to need to survive in the long run, right? Because as far as the immediate, I would say, like, maybe 2 or 3 months are concerned, we're pretty much set. We don't have to leave the base. We have food, we have water, we're good, but that's kind of boring, and you really want to set yourself up for the future. Anyways, I'll see you all. Apparently, anyways is now my new favorite word. I apologize if I said it like 5 million times. I don't know what's wrong with me. I will see you all next time. Have fun, take care, bye-bye. And if you're feeling particularly generous, there are options for supporting the channel in the forms of donations down below with Patreon and channel memberships, but by no means feel compelled to do anything. Just want to let you know that that is there. And is, of course, greatly appreciated. All proceeds go towards making the channel a better place, getting video games, better equipment, so on and so forth. Have fun, Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.